How's it guys? How's everyone doing? Another Cleared Connect. Stoked to be here as usual and be in a room full of cleared recruiters. There seems to be a theme of overcoming adversity, chaos, that seems to always permeate our space. So I thought I'd tell you a little story about myself and how I got to where I'm at today. So when I was 20, I got thrown out of college, like aggressively told to leave college. And that same month, I had to watch my sister graduate college. And I was sitting at the University of Colorado at Boulder, watching her walk the stage, thinking, I'm never gonna graduate. Like, how am I gonna do this? Just total shame. So I decided to go to a 2-year college in Chicago called Columbia College. Figured I could get my grades up and figure out what's next. So I decided to study music and creative writing at Columbia College, got a 3.5 GPA, and that same summer, one of my friend's girlfriends was like, hey, I'm going to the University of Arizona. She showed me a picture of the campus. I totally fell in love. I didn't know if I fell in love with her or Arizona, but I decided I'm going to University of Arizona. So I apply, late, of course, and my dad and I go out to Arizona and just talk to the admissions team, and they're like, you'll have no problem getting in. You got a 3.5 GPA, you'll make it in. Fast forward. The day before I'm supposed to leave for University of Arizona, I'm like, you know what? I never got an admissions packet. I never got a letter saying you could get in. I was just taking the word of this admissions counselor. So I picked up the phone. My truck was packed with all my stuff. The next day, I'm supposed to leave for Arizona with my dad. Call him up, said, hey, I'm just checking on my application. Did I get in? The lady said, no. So panic, absolute panic. How am I gonna tell my dad I didn't get in? We're literally supposed to leave the next day. So what do you think I did? Any guesses? Maybe I should have gone anyway, but I took a different approach. I called them again. I just called back. And I said, hey, a different person answered. My name's Tom Weinert. I never received my admissions packet. I want to see if I got in, and I'll be admitted this semester. And the guy at the end of the phone said, oh yeah, you got in. What do you think I learned? Any guesses? Anything else? Talk to the right person. This is all better than I was going to say, but yeah. I learned I'm really good at BSing. But I also learned pick up the phone. I learned don't take no for an answer. And today, when I look back on that, what I learned is I do good work when I'm passionate. I got that 3.5. Go ahead. No idea. I ended up going there, graduating, and getting a degree is the end of it. Someone gave me maybe I should have said that. Yeah. But what I learned about myself is that I'm a passionate person, and when I do stuff that invigorates me, I do good work. And that was through the music and the creative writing classes. Like, I really enjoyed that. And that's like, you hear a lot of people talking about your flow state. Like, what's your flow state? What are you good at? And recruiting is tough. And it's really hard to be a good recruiter. But there are many different ways to be a good recruiter. You could be good at sourcing. You could be good at talking to people. You could be good at negotiations, whatever it is. So I think about that with my own team, and we ask them frequently, how do you do good work? And everyone should ask themselves that question. How do you do good work? What is that environment that makes you do good work? And try to lean into it as much as possible. It's a really big thing that I think a lot of organizations don't do, is just asking their team, what are you good at? So we all think that we should make our weaknesses better, when really what we should be doing is leaning into our strengths. So my name's Tommy. I've been doing this since 2008 in the GovCon space, working with a defense contractor. I've done a lot of BD, program management, recruiting. I founded a company called Mount Indy in 2018. My wife and I run this business, and basically what we do is help teams find talent. Today we're going to talk about a little about the history of Connect. I think there's a really good message in the history of Connect that I want to go through. And then new threat vectors in cleared recruiting. So what are we seeing on a day-to-day basis right now that's going to affect how we recruit in the future? And then some hacks and tricks. All right, before I get into it, I know Lindy said, what keeps you up at night or something is a really bad question. But what is on your mind? I want to hear from you guys. What right now are you struggling with in cleared recruiting? Just shout it out.
Salary.
Salaries, rates, hiring managers, good job descriptions. I always struggle on how to drink water and when to do it in these presentations. So, what else? Hiring managers. Anything else? Getting talent to engage. Something over here? Closing software engineers. That means competing offers, things of that nature. Right, okay. Let's go on to the next slide. 2021, I think this was the first Connect. Was 2021 the first Connect? Okay. So we were talking about response rates. Everyone in the room said, I can't get candidates to engage. And we were dealing with COVID at the time. 2022, we talked about creating a culture in hiring, what that looks like. 2023, we talked more about bouillon searching, but we were really dealing with, at that time, the remote workforce starting to go back into the office. 2024, we talked about recruiting as a warfighting function. Sue Gordon said, recruiting is a matter of national security, and if we mess it up, we won't survive. I love that quote. And it was the beginning of RTO. You guys, we have been here before. We have had crisis after crisis, but the thing that's constant is it's always about finding the talent, getting to engage, finding the right people, dealing with difficult hiring managers. The chaos changes, but the mission is always the same. We're hearing a lot about the chaos right now. And my note to everyone is we've been here before. We can do it. We do very, very hard work, but we always find a way to make it happen. Before we go to the next slide, what's next? What's the biggest challenge right now? So what's the biggest challenge you guys are facing right now in regards to the environment we're in? We can go to the next slide. So DOGE, the perceived instability of government contracting. Are you guys seeing hesitancy with your candidates about staying in the market? Yes? We can go to the next slide. This is the biggest thing, Jasper Sleet. Does anyone know what this is? All right, Eric. Next slide. Jasper Sleet is a North Korean state-sponsored campaign placing IT operatives in US companies with fake identities. It's basically fake candidates that work for your company and funnel the money back to the North Korean regime. What they're doing is basically using VPNs, deepfake interviews, fake documentation, or using US-based intermediaries to launder income back to North Korea. And yes, this is happening to government contractors. I've spoken to a few government contractors that have hired these individuals. They've gone through the security clearance process. They've onboarded with government contractors and worked within the space. This is the data. 3,000 instances uncovered just by Microsoft. So Microsoft is basically saying there are 3,000 accounts just in Microsoft that we know are basically working in this Jasper Sleet campaign. 64 organizations are affected. That's from the DOJ. And this number changes every single day. $88 million in revenue generated in North Korean military programs. Now, does that surprise anyone? Some people are shaking no. I mean, that surprises the hell out of me. Go ahead.
Why not work in the commercial space? Why try to get into the cleared space? Wouldn't it be so much easier to go undetected?
Oh, you mean as
by
far
people
as
not
this?
looking for them? Yeah.
Well, what are they gaining in the cleared space?
The intel,
intel.
assume is the goal.
Is it easier in the commercial space? Absolutely. My takeaway from this is that I never thought it would happen here. The people were like, that they caught had ghosted security clearances, which just blew me away. So this is just a really interesting thing. But according to DCSA's own data, resume submission was the #1 method of infiltration into cleared environments. 25% of all reported infiltration cases is resume submission. Next slide. This is the data from DCSA. So do you guys feel like you're on the front line of security in this issue? I mean, absolutely. We are the ones that are bringing people into the pipeline and the funnel. So when I saw this, honestly, I was surprised that this graph from DCSA has not been sent to every recruiting organization in every company. This is a major thing that we're dealing with. So, and it's not always nefarious actors. Like we are dealing with, have you heard of the overemployed phenomenon? Where people are doing multiple jobs, which is taxpayer fraud. So these are things that we have to be on the lookout for. Next slide. Thank you. So how do we prepare against this as recruiters? Because this is going to be a huge issue going into the next few years. No virtual backgrounds allowed on video interviews. This is huge. When you use a virtual background or even a blurred background, it's easier for the AI deepfake to create an image in front of the person. So we tell everyone that we're interviewing, no virtual backgrounds, we need to see your face. Screenshot verification. A lot of large companies are saying, I need to take a picture of you and I want you to hold your ID next to your face. Again, that's a little extreme, but we're seeing that. No AI usage. Basically making candidates agree, this isn't gonna stop them, but it's something you can do, make them agree that they will not use AI during your interviews. And then train recruiter instincts. It's all about following your gut. If something feels off, it's off. I wouldn't be so passionate about this if I didn't know some company owners that were dealing with this and kind of told me how this happened. But recruiters have great instincts and we have to follow our guts. And this one's really big, red flag drills. You should be working with your insider threat program security officers, your FSOs, and just talking about this as a potential issue. How do we handle this? How do we communicate these issues? If you're interviewing somebody that you feel like is misrepresenting their identity, what's your next step? Right? You should be sending it to your insider threat officer, your FSO. So as a recruiter, I would go to your security departments and say, we need to talk about this, like what's our plan here? Because this is actually a really big thing. So where are we going in 2025? I truly believe that all of our functions are going to start looking a lot more like marketing, creating engagement, bringing people in organically. There's a larger adoption of AI at work. Who's using AI in their personal lives on a day-to-day basis right now? Like, we're all really used to using it. And as some of the previous presenters talked about, this is a big thing. Like, how is AI gonna like get into our funnel and start like inflating resumes and things of that nature? Response rates will continue to decline. Is anyone having a hard time getting candidates to respond to them right now? This is nothing new, and with all the AI-generated messages, there's a lot of noise out there. So how do we cut through that noise? Competitions for offers will continue to rise. We're seeing counteroffers after counteroffers with all of our candidates. This is something really big, and it's been on the increase for the last few years. And we discussed this earlier this morning. There's an increase of non-engineering talent that is coming into the pipeline by nature of Doge and things of that nature. So a lot of you are fielding calls from cleared individuals that you can't place, which is incredibly frustrating. We heard someone talking about not ghosting candidates. Like, what do you do when you're talking to this career federal employee that has a clearance that you don't have something for right now, but you might in the future? So these are big items that we're dealing with and kind of where I see the industry going, the top one being the most important. Like, we have to think like marketers. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. So getting candidates to respond. You may have to click again. This is my LinkedIn inbox. What I'm showing you is my main message folder. And as you can see, I've responded to most of them. Did you know there's 2 other folders in LinkedIn? There's the other folder. You can see I haven't responded to any of those. And then there's the in-mail folder, which we're sending. I haven't responded to any of those. I didn't know there was 3 folders in LinkedIn when you're sending messages. Did you guys know that? Some yes, some no. So are people even getting your messages when you're sending them on LinkedIn? I've read that the average user logs into LinkedIn, how often do you think? Once a week. At the average user, 63%, once a week. So if you send the message on Monday, they don't get it until Friday. With this rate and speed that we operate at, that's not a good connection. But these are the top 3 reasons why I think people don't respond. Number 1, it's the wrong job. Bad sourcing. We didn't bring the right people into the funnel. We contacted people about the wrong job. 2, bad messaging. It's not compelling. There's no reason. We didn't speak to the candidate's motivation. We didn't connect with them. Or they just didn't see it or forgot. So whenever I'm sending a message, I think about these things. Are they going to see it? Is it the right messaging? And is it the right job? Next slide. So when I talked about flow state at the beginning, some people could be really good at the technical side of messaging. You could be thinking about subject lines, content, like click-through rates, like what marketers think about, like how am I going to increase the chances of this landing in the inbox? Or there's a creative side to it, which is content or speaking to candidates' motivation. I think one of the most important things in recruiting is understanding the motivation of the person that you're talking to. If what you're selling doesn't align with what they're buying, it's never going to work out. Next slide. So here's a little messaging hack. I am by no way a master at this, but I saw this presentation a while ago. Is everyone familiar with disc profiles? So this is basically most people fall in line with a certain profile. And I just did a little data scrub to say, engineers fall into what disc profile? And according to this, conscientious, whatever, and dominance. And veterans fall into dominance and steadiness before that word and influence. So what if there was a way to write messages that spoke to the personality profile of the person? You can go to the next slide. So this is a high D message based on that profile. And bottom line, it's literally telling someone the whole bluff. This is a chance to lead on the only ATO developed by and improved by Google Cloud Platform environment for the Air Force. This is a very direct and to the point type of message. Next slide. High C looks a little different. I'm not going to read this to you, but it's worded differently. The motivation is different. It just connects with the person on a different way. This to me is like really mind-blowing, and some people could be really good at the technical side or the creative side, but I know a lot of us are sending the same message over and over and over again, and I've said for years, the single point of failure in recruiting is messaging. This is where everything lies on. If you can't connect with somebody, you can't recruit them. So there's a lot of different ways to get creative in the messaging. And there's a lot of data that shows you how to get creative. It's either like I said before, the technical side, like what subject line works. Literally, like how many words should the subject line be? Or what does the email look like? Like where should the breaks be in the email? I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but the data is out there, and I really, want to encourage everyone to look at this data and say, how can I make messages that land with people? I mean, this is Connect, and as a speaker said before, this is all about connecting with people. And with all of this AI messaging coming through, it's a ton of bad messaging. I'm sure you're getting it all from salespeople from time to time. You see how generic the messaging is. A way to connect with people is to speak to their motivations. And one way is to figure out, like, most of the people I talk to are high D or high C. I'm going to write messages that kind of, connect with that. And ChatGPT is like the easiest way to do this. All right. Do you guys want to get a little tactical and see some like hands-on tricks that I've found in ClearanceJobs that I think a lot of people are missing? Does that sound good? Okay. All right, so Eric is going to run a little demo for me in the back here. So this is ClearanceJobs. There's candidates in ClearanceJobs that nobody is seeing. And I truly believe before you buy any new technology, you have to know the capability of your current technology. And I've trained probably hundreds of recruiters at this point, and so many people don't understand the basic technology that lives within ClearanceJobs. So I thought I'd show some of this. So the first thing I want to show is the applications report. Are you guys checking this report? Anyone? Couple people. The majority of people are not checking. Is that what I'm getting? This is every candidate that applied to your jobs. Now, are they in your ATS? What's the thought? Do you think they're in your ATS? No, there's no way in telling if these people are in your ATS. All this means is they clicked a button on ClearanceJobs that said apply. When it got to your ATS, they may have fallen off. So this is a very good report to check literally on the daily basis. This is my account. We're probably going to see some applications that were not checked, so I'm going to be a little upset when I see that. But yeah, the application report, you've got warm candidates. These are people that have engaged with your brand, that understand your brand, and have applied to a position. Let's go to the jobs report. This is the same thing I did last time. Actually, it's under job posts. One more. Yep. Actually, just go to job posts. So the last report was difficult to read because you couldn't really tell the details of the job that they applied to. This report, if you click on the total applications number, the fourth column to the right, you'll see the people in one more over. Actually, go to total apps too. I wish I could point. Yeah. This is going to show you the people in the job funnel that applied. I hope none of these are your employees. Oh, thank you. So these people have applied to this chief engineer systems job, and it's just an easier way for me to look at that person and see what job they applied to. Is anyone checking this? This guy is. Cavallero knows what to do. But yeah, this is a huge, again, warm candidates. These are people that have engaged with your brand. These are people that get my immediate attention. I'm going to call them right away. Let's do expressed interest. Does everyone know what expressed interest is? Some people. So expressed interest is just basically people that didn't want to apply, but they said, hey, I'm interested in this job. This is how you find those people. Full list of people. So the reporting features in ClearanceJobs, in my opinion, there's hidden candidates in there that we're just not seeing on a day-to-day basis. Who's using workflows? About 10% is my estimate. Let's look at workflows. So I'm going to explain really quick what workflows are. We're super excited about AI, but it's automation, right? Like this is, most of AI is automation, and this is your automation within ClearanceJobs. So if you look at this software developer, basically what I've done is put the job description in, and this is, everyone has access to this. You put the job description in, you say, I want a 75% match score to the job description, which I believe is powered by the IntelliSearch. I tell the clearance level, locations that they live, years of experience. And then I hit continue, and then I could say, when somebody updates their resume profile that matches that criteria, I want to do one of a few things. We can go to you can hit continue. So I email these people, and they send the resume to those emails. So workflow is like a built-in automation within ClearanceJobs that sends you the exact candidates that you're looking for. This is incredibly powerful. Now, my advice here is you have to be super specific, because what I see that happens is you start getting these workflow notifications, the candidates don't match, you start ignoring them, and then the workflow notification doesn't even work. So if this is specific, you write a good job description, you have the right requirements in there, and you ask for like a 75% or greater match score, these candidates are hot candidates. Like I literally tell my team, if you get a workflow notification, stop everything you're doing, literally, and call that candidate. So workflow notification is huge. Let's check out Pulse. So candidates, when they log in to ClearanceJobs, this is what they see. They see this feed, which is similar to like a Facebook feed. And what I learned yesterday is mine is candidates, right? Like I see candidates, but what the candidates see are recruiters. So if you connect to every single person on ClearanceJobs that you're interested in, when they go to their Pulse update, they will see your job postings that you post on Pulse. Is anyone using Pulse and posting stuff on there? Couple people, great. There's 90,000 impressions a month on Pulse. 90,000 people, the first thing that they see every single month is this update. So you can put in here, I'm hiring for this, or you could just engage with these people on here. This to me, like I always tell myself, I wish I tripled down on LinkedIn back in the day. Like now it's almost too late. This is like the beginning. We're at the beginning of Pulse, and it's so easy to get noticed and seen on this. Not only posting content, but just engaging with people who are talking about different certifications that they got, or what they're looking to do in the future with Kubernetes. So this is a really good way to engage with the ClearanceJobs candidate pool, and not a lot of people are doing it. This is the long game. You're not going to maybe get hires right away from this, but you will start seeing a lot of traction here. So Pulse is huge. Yeah.
With workflows and this, you can integrate both of them extremely well. Because with workflows, whoever shows up in the workflow, you can actually automatically connect with and automatically.
Say that again.
So with workflows, you can actually set it in the settings where it automatically connects with whatever candidate shows up in that workflow, so it automatically would transfer over to the Pulse as well. I have a recruiter on my team that named Matt Schwalbe that does this on a regular basis, and half of his candidates are from this.
Half of his candidates are from this. That's phenomenal. There's other things that you can do as far as automations. So, for example, with the workflow notification, you can easily set an email inbox up in your Outlook that takes an action after you receive a workflow notification. So you can start chaining together different workflows that don't only live in ClearanceJobs, but start going into your own ecosystem, which is Office 365 or whatever. So this is really, really powerful. It goes back to the point of the marketing aspect and getting out there and creating content, even if it's just a little couple lines post for the ClearanceJobs community. It's great. It's really, really powerful. Do you guys see the benefit in that? Awesome. How do you get to it? So you basically go up to your to get to the pulse update, you go to your picture, and then it says pulse update right there. Yeah, and then to get to workflow, you click that, and it says manage workflows or workflow notifications. So I'm almost out of time. I think I could show you one more thing in here. Is everyone using broadcast messages? Oh, everyone's using broadcast. Okay, we won't go over that. But yeah, my whole thing on this is, as talent acquisition providers, in the coming year, you're going to be asked, what do we buy? Like, what AI product should we buy? This is outside of this, but I just want to leave everyone with, when you're buying an AI product for your company, what is incredibly important to understand is, how does it work? I've seen a lot of products on the market that show like an inference for clearance. We're going to infer that this person has a clearance. But if you look at the data behind the clearance inference, it's very, very weak. So ClearanceJobs, we all know, the ecosystem is all cleared talent that have to have a clearance to get on there. But that would just be, my main advice. When you're looking at a new product, understand how it works. And if you don't understand how it works, bring in a solutions engineer or someone from the technical team. They can help you like really see what's under the hood and how does this thing actually work. Because a lot of you are going to be asked by your teams, what should we buy? What AI product should we buy? And my advice to that is exactly what I just said, but also, before you buy anything, every single product that you have, make sure you get the functionality of it and you understand how it works. And the last thing I'll say is, I love finding out new cool stuff. Like, I love figuring out how to source candidates in a really cool way, doing a really cool X-ray search or finding an attendee list from a conference and finding people's information. And that's really fun to do. But what I've really started figuring out is, you always want to start with your highest return on investment of time. And your ATS is the highest return on investment for your time. The people in your applicant tracking system are people you've already spoken with. Has anyone heard the term reverse search before? I know you guys did. Reverse search is looking at old job descriptions and who did we source for that job and who did we interview for that job. So your ATS is your highest return on investment. And I always say this, I don't work for ClearanceJobs, but your second highest return on investment is ClearanceJobs. You have the phone numbers, you have the email addresses, you're also working with the brand credibility of ClearanceJobs. So we're all going to be asked that a lot in the future. What AI products do we buy? And it's always good to look at what we have, and do we even understand all of the different ways that it works? So I think I have a couple minutes for questions.
Is it possible to put Booleans in that search instead of power search in the workflow?
Yes, great question.
Amazing.
Yeah, so the question was, can you kind of combine IntelliSearch with Boolean? That is the strongest use case. Like, and the last thing I'll say about that is, if you're on a multiple award contract and all the subcontractors have the same job descriptions and you use IntelliSearch, you're going to find the same candidates. What makes it stronger is if you use Boolean. I love the cool stuff, but like, you have to understand Boolean logic. But if anyone wants to chat about any of this stuff, I'm around. I literally will take phone calls about this. I love talking about recruiting, and thank you.